Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to a new week, a new start, where we are taking our live sessions here on YouTube to the next level now because we've done more than 45 sessions here already. We've talked about solving a lot of problems, we've dealt with a lot of challenges. So, this week, we're going to up the game. We're going to take this to another level. We're going to start believing, acting, and feeling like the successful person that we are meant to be, like the achiever that all of us have come here together to become. Because I believe in this space, on this channel, you've not just come for the sake of it. You've come here because you know that deep down in you, there's that achiever, there's that successful person, there's that dreamer who knows that all of his or her dreams can come true. And this is the way how, this is the way to get there. And that's why today I'm thinking that rather than just solving another problem for you, or rather than just giving you another new perspective from the place where you are, let me take you on a little trip. Let me take you on a little journey into the minds of the people who have made it to the top. Because I believe ultimately talent, skills, abilities, and just overall physical level stuff or technical level stuff can only take you so far. Everybody has access to that, everybody has the ability to build that out. What matters is who uses that ability and who lets go of that ability. And that's where mindset and resilience and grit play such a major role. And that's why the winner's edge is not specialized knowledge anymore. AI can do that for you. The winner's edge is no longer having just one competitive mode or one competitive strategy over another. Anybody can eventually copy that. The real winner's edge in today's world is the mindset that the winner has, the courage that the winner has, the ability of focus and direction and action that the winner has. So even if everybody copies the winner's ideas and actions and steps and goals, and even the winner's businesses or companies or jobs or projects, or hogs the credit, or all the politics that we usually see happening with people who are trying to rise through the ranks, the winner does not give up and the winner does not get startled by any of those challenges. Why? Because deep down the winner knows where he or she is coming from. They know that they have the ability to rebuild it all. Of course, they're going to be strategic. Of course, they're going to be clear. Of course, they're going to set the right boundaries, but nothing phases them. No betrayal affects them. No challenge bothers them. Nothing going wrong becomes a barrier in their growth. And that is what a real winner can do. That is what someone who's made it to the top has mastered the art of being resilient, being strong, and being clear. Now, I know these are good words to hear, but let me break down each one of them for you. And we're also going to understand exactly what is the one shift you can make to unlock not just one of these core skills, but all three of these skills. So it doesn't matter how technically far behind you are in your field, you can catch up on that. It doesn't matter if you don't have the best skills yet. It doesn't matter if you're perfect. If you can build these three things, any career path you choose, any relationship you get into, any personal project you decide, oh, you are going to be successful. Perfect? No, nobody is. But successful? Definitely. And that's what we need resilience and courage and clarity for. Now let's define resilience. Okay, I'm going to define each of these terms for you, not like a dictionary though, in a practical format, so that you can actually implement this and start building the winner's edge. So, by resilience, I simply mean when a challenge comes, when things go wrong, do you throw your hands up and say, I give up? Or do you say, well, bring it on. I can handle it. I can make it happen. Let me deal with this. When someone who you thought would be very close to you turns out to be someone who's not, do you give up right there? Do you say, oh my God, nobody's trustworthy in the world. Why do I make such a mistake? Or do you sit back and just realize, well, where did I go wrong? Where did I not understand the right intentions or the miscommunications? And how can I make sure in my future relationships the same pattern does not repeat? Right there, you've become resilient. Right there, you've improved in your health. If one diet failed, so what? Let me try another one. If two diets failed, so what? Let me try another one. If three diets failed, so what? Maybe dieting is not the right option. Maybe I just need to get off my chair and start to move a lot more. Think, Plan. Don't give up at the first sign of a hardship. I mean, I used to think that it's easy for people to continue. It's easy for people to keep going, but our fears and our doubts and our worries, they block us so much inside our heads that people give up before they even give themselves a chance to experience the glory of success. They give up because it's too hard. They give up because it's too outside of their comfort zone. Well, guess what? Growth requires discomfort. Better relationships require the hard conversations. A better careers requires the extra work. Better health requires you to get up early or stay up a bit late, but to make sure that you move. That's a given. Now, if you try to avoid that, if you're not comfortable with that, well, nothing's really going to work out, right? So that's what resilience is for, being able to see the hard things and rather than running away from them, embracing them and focusing on them. Which brings us to courage. That's the second aspect of the winner's edge. Now, courage, my friends, is simple. In the face of disapproval, how proudly can you stand? In the face of challenges, in the face of critics, in the face of people who say, you, what will you do? In their face, in their words, in their demeanor, in their meanness, are you giving up? Or are you still continuing with your head held high? In all the times those people say, I told you so, I knew you'd fail, you're trying too hard, you're this, you're that, whatever it is that people say, are you letting that get to your heart, or are you courageous enough not argue with them, not even fight with them, but to redirect your energies and let your actions do the talking? That's what winners do. That's what successful people do. I mean, it's crazy to think, okay? I'll give you an example of Elon Musk right here. Hate him or love him, you do notice him and you do see him. It doesn't matter. I'm not taking his politics into alignment here. I'm not taking his business practices into alignment here. The one fact that I'm considering is he's a winner. He's at the top of his game. He's currently the richest man on the planet. So he has figured out a thing or two about achieving exceptional success. And that's what his companies like Tesla, SpaceX, PayPal, all of them prove. Now, he's a controversial figure. He gets a lot of hate, but he also gets a lot of love. And if the richest man on the planet cannot live without hate, cannot live without critics, what are you and I even expecting? Now, I'm not putting us down. Don't get that as the message. But what I'm saying is, it's such a crazy expectation to think that everything's going to be easy and comfortable and everybody's going to love you for it. No, they're not. That's the reality of the world. And if you're fighting against that reality, well, you can choose to fight against it. But is that really a right use of your resources? Just ask yourself that question. And you will realize building my courage, well, that's a much better way to succeed. That's a much better way to take these things forward. Which brings us to the third C, the third step, and that's clarity. Now, by clarity, I don't just mean what do I want to do? What are my action plans? What's my strategy? What's my end goal? All of us have that. That's not the clarity I'm talking about. I'm talking about the clarity of the person, the clarity of who you are, the clarity of who you stand for, the clarity of the principles that define your approach to life, to business, to work, to relationships. And then not just saying them as pretty words, but actually living them. Because I've seen this reality play out so often. It's comical now and it's ironic that when you walk into a corporate office or you walk into a multinational corporation and you're in the reception area, you see this big board with the company's mission and vision. And they say something like, our mission is to help people find the perfect inclusive workplace where they feel inspired to take action and add value to the world and contribute to the growth of the corporation and the industry and so many other filler words. But essentially what they're saying is the people that work here, oh, they're excited to work here so much. Our mission is to give them that. Our mission is to provide our customers with the ultimate service quality experience. Everybody says that. Talk to the employees there, talk to the people there, talk to the ones who are working, and ask them in the moments when the manager at the other end is screaming on the phone saying, why is the project not completed yet? Why did you not do this? Why did you not do that? Ask them what happens to inspiration then. Ask them what happens in the moments when the work life balance that they were promised ends because it's just expected that they'll still work till 7 p.m. just because they're the employee of the company. The words on the wall and the actions in the talk just do not match. And that is why I'm not very fond of giving people purpose and mission statement exercises. Yes, it feels good for a while. Yes, it feels like I am doing something. I am getting a lot of clarity. But can I be honest with you? That clarity doesn't last, because that is not clarity that you found, that is clarity that you've made. That's a story. That has nothing to do with your reality. You haven't picked those mission statements or those purpose statements because you truly align with them. You've picked them up because the world would say, oh, wow, you're so noble. You're so kind for doing this. That's what you're really looking for. That's what these companies as well look for. That's why their actions do not match their results. That's why the inspiration on the corporate vision board is nowhere visible inside the office. And that's why most people as well feel stuck there. They do not grow, they do not succeed, they do not achieve the goals that they have. Now, they could either blame it on the company, but in your life, is your company doing everything for you? No, you are the one. Question is, have you built that clarity for yourself? Have you created that edge of being a winner? Have you defined what your values and standards are? Not just pretty moral world values that you've picked up from a book or from a dictionary. No, but what do you truly stand for? What is something you'll tolerate? What is something you will not tolerate? These are questions we're not used to asking. And honestly, on some extent, this feels like a futile exercise, right? This feels like, what am I going to do by knowing all of that? It's all just theory in my head ultimately. What am I standing for? What am I not standing for? Well, right now it feels like that. And I completely get where you're coming from. I completely understand as well, because it doesn't seem like a need. But this week, my friends, we're not approaching this from our level, are we? This week, we're approaching it from the level of people who are already at the top. And at the top, it's not new knowledge that helps you, it's this clarity, it's this edge that helps you. Because imagine this, imagine you're the owner of your business. There's a $400 million deal that has just come on your table, and you're about to sign the final word. The deal is going to go into effect. The company is going to be flushed with money. It's going to be all over the news. You are going to be the hero. You can already see the reporters crawling around to see the next breakthrough story of the startup world come live. Your investors, the people you're partnering up with, they're all excited as well. And in that moment, something in your heart says, something in your chest says, maybe this is not the right deal. But every data point is aligned, every focus point is aligned, every technical piece of advice that could be there, it seems perfect. The numbers are aligned. What's really wrong? You cannot pinpoint it. But it's something to do with your values, it's to do with your principles, it's to do with the standards that you believe you hold yourself up to. But the problem is, if you have not defined them, this hunch is going to do nothing. You'll make the decision, you'll jump into the boat, and a month later, a year later, 5 years later, a decade later, you will regret that decision. You will feel, why did I even do that? Why did I even choose that? Was there any need of it? And when you find out the answer is no, your why, like why did I choose that, that will be answered by this: I wasn't clear on my principles, I wasn't clear on what I stood for as a business owner, where money is no longer the only thing that matters, but it's reputation, it's quality, it's service, it's associations, it's the network, it's so many other things that money cannot measure. But the money cannot also be without these things, these subconscious things we don't notice, these qualitative aspects of a success we miss out on. Well, those very principles that we call abstract are the ones that help you make the right decision under extreme pressure. They are the ones that make you the leader who succeeds, the leader who achieves, the leader who makes it big. But the question is, do you have clarity on that? A lot of us don't. So tonight, here's your assignment. Here's what I want you to do. Think about this question, not from your current perspective, but from the perspective of the leader you already are, from the perspective of the achiever that you'd want to be, and ask yourself, right now I'm focused on achieving success. But what are the principles, values, and code of conduct I would need to adopt in myself to make sure that I'm not just there, but I'm also successful? Because too many lives, too many successes, too many wonderful success stories have been ruined not by a grave mistakes, not by something going wrong in business, not by a serious injury that destroyed that athlete's Olympic career. No. You know what's caused the biggest downfalls in all of history? Lapses of character. Where the person chose against who they really were. Where the person was like, what's the effect really? What if I just do it once? It's not that big of a deal, is it? But when you are at that level, oh, everything is a big deal. Everything. And the day you can hold yourself to that standard, the day you can hold yourself to that clarity of characters and morals and values, even in a world that seems to go corrupt, even in a world that seems to value greed, you will be the strategic person who succeeds, who lasts, and who wins the game. That's where real success is built. Quick success, try any hack you want, try any shortcut you want. I don't mind. But real success, well, that takes character, and that takes clarity from you, that takes courage from you, that takes from you resilience to show up and to make things happen. So I hope this food for thought has gotten your mind thinking, it's gotten you excited, and it's starting to define who you are and what you stand for. Because that right there, my friends, is the backbone of your success. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and I'll see you once again at the exact same time. That is 8:30 p.m. IST. See you soon. Bye.